much for coming to our Fall 2022 Club Theater Thespians presentation of Hansel and Gretel. These kids have been working very diligently for the last 8 weeks. I only have them for 3 hours every Friday, and they have pulled together. They're committed. They're just exceptional, and they're very creative and kind people. So we also have many people who have contributed to this set and the production of this. Of course, Christina Farley always deserves a huge round of applause. Christina is the director. If you don't know her, you should get to know her, of the Patagonia Creative Arts Association, and the Tin Shed Theater comes under their umbrella. She is steadfast in her commitment to arts education for children in our community, and because of it, we can bring together a super unique group of kids. We have children from the Patagonia Elementary School, children from the Patagonia Montessori School, and homeschoolers within our community. And this production has a third of each. And so when the kids get here and they're like, oh, I'm not sure I know these people, over an 8-week period, they make new friendships, they get to know new kids, and they create a team that you're going to see here today bring this to production. Kayla Miller, she is my fearless co-director. She adapted and wrote this script for this. She's a quiet undertow. When she speaks, the kids listen. She's very incredibly creative, and she's the librarian too at our library. Julie Davis and Berkeley Davis. Julie is our set designer. She is exceptional. Her daughter is actually working in Chicago. She is a manager of a theater company there. Berkeley helped us out with all the lights. They are steadfast in their commitment to creating magic for children on the stage. And I really appreciate them. They're very humble people, and they're super creative, and I really, really love them. Sonny Soto, he helped us out with the tree and the rock. Sonny Soto is a homegrown Patagonia guy. His daughter started theater in high school. He's been building sets ever since, and he's always willing to help out. I don't know if some of you saw Frog and Toad with our big 12-foot toadstools. It's amazing. Lars Marshall, always a god. Thank you. He made our posters. He's making a video. Yeah. Each of your children who are participating are going to get a video, so they can bring it home in case your grandmas or grandpas or your aunties and uncles didn't get to see it. It will live forever on his CD. Mandy from Red Mountain Foods. We feed the kids. We literally feed them, and as you know, they're growing like wild weeds. So Mandy's been contributing from Red Mountain Foods. We so appreciate it. Our funding comes from the Patagonia Regional Community Foundation and the United Way of Santa Cruz County. But if you feel like your child has benefited from this program, please make a donation to the Art Center. Nothing is too small or too big. Your money goes directly towards art supplies, for costumes, for my huge salary. So I'm sure you all turned off of your smartphones. I do want to bring to your attention one student who has dedicated himself to this performance. Couldn't be here tonight, and I'm really sorry, but one of our actors stepped up. So you will be seeing one actor playing 2 roles. So without further ado, here is Hansel and Gretel. Oh, and our narrators tonight, because we did historical research on this, are Brothers Grimm 1 and Brothers Grimm 2.
Once near a great forest lived a poor woodcutter with his wife and his 2 children, Hansel and Gretel. But the woodcutter was very poor. He had little to eat, and when a great famine fell on the land, he could no longer afford to buy food for his family.
At night, the woodcutter was so worried that he could no longer sleep, and instead paced across the room, worrying about how he would feed his children.
What will we do? How can we feed our poor children when we don't even have food to feed ourselves? I'll tell you what I think. Early tomorrow morning, we'll take them into the forest and we will give them each one last piece of bread. Then we will leave them and be rid of them. They will not find their way home, and we will not have to deal with them. No, I cannot do that. How could I bear to leave my children alone in the woods? The wild animals would soon come tear them to pieces. Oh, you fool, then we'll all die of hunger. Better they perish than all of us.
She left him no peace until he agreed to the plan. He finally went to bed feeling horribly sad that in the morning he would be leaving his children alone to die.
The two children were so hungry they had also not been able to sleep and had heard everything that their mother and father had said to them. They both shook with fear.
Oh, how will we ever get out of the forest tomorrow?
Shh, Hansel, don't worry. I will think of a plan to save us. I won't let us get lost in the woods.
And when her parents had fallen asleep, she got up and crept outside. The moon had shone brightly, and when the white pebbles in front of the house had glittered like real silver in the moonlight, Gretel stuffed her pockets with as many as she could fit. And then she lay down again in her bed and fell asleep.
As soon as the sun came up, their stepmother came to awake them.
Get up, you brats. We're going into the forest to catch wood. Here is something for your dinner, but do not eat it until then, for you will get nothing else.
Then they had all set out together on the way to the forest. When they had walked a short time, Gretel stood still and peeped back at the house, and did so again and again.
Gretel, what do you keep looking at? Keep up. We must get going.
I'm looking at my little white cat on the roof who wants to say goodbye to me.
Fool, that is not your little cat. That is the morning sun shining on the chimney.
Gretel, however, had not been looking back at the cat, but had been constantly throwing one of the white pebble stones out of her pocket onto the road.
Once they had gone far enough into the woods that the stepmother was sure the children could never find their way back, they told the children to sit and wait while they gathered more firewood. But the woodcutter hated to leave his children behind in the cold woods. He could not convince the stepmother to let the children come home, or perhaps he could help them survive the night. He had handed the wood he had gathered so far to Hansel.
Now, children, pile up some wood by the fire. Pile up some wood, and I will light a fire so you will not be cold. All right, children, lay yourselves down by the fire and go to sleep. Your father and I are going in the woods to cut some wood. When we are done, we'll come and take you home.
Hansel and Gretel sat by the fire, and when the moon came, each ate a little piece of bread. And as they had been sitting for such a long time, Hansel and Gretel's eyes began to close, and they fell asleep. When they at last awoke, it was already dark night.
Oh no, how will we ever get out of the forest now?
Don't worry, Hansel. Once the moon has risen, we will be able to see the trail of pebbles I left behind. You guys come.
And when the full moon had risen, Gretel took her little brother by the hand and followed the pebbles, which shone bright and showed them the way. They walked all night long and found their father's house just as the sun began to rise. They knocked at the door. When the stepmother opened it, she was furious to see the children had found their way back.
You horrible, naughty brats. How did you ever get out of how did you find your way home? We thought you were never coming back at all.
The father, however, came into the room and rejoiced, for it had cut him to the heart to leave them behind, alone. But the stepmother was angrier than ever and wanted all the children gone, even more than she had the first night.
Oh, joyous day! My beloved children have returned home. Children, go curl up by the fire and make yourselves warm. All we have left is 1/2 loaf of bread, and that is it. Tomorrow the children must go. We'll take them farther into the woods, and they will never find their way home again. It is the only way we can save ourselves.
The woodcutter's heart was heavy, and he argued for hours, but the stepmother wouldn't listen to anything that he had to say. She scolded him that since he said yes the first time, he had to do it a second time also.
I will not leave my children in the woods again. We have no choice. I've already said this, but better they perish than all of us.
The children, however, were still awake and heard the conversation, and when their parents were asleep, Gretel got up and tried to go up and pick out the pebbles, as she had the night before. But the woman had locked the door, and Gretel could not get out. Gretel sat next to her brother and cried for the rest of the night.
Do not cry, Gretel. I will not let us get lost in the woods tomorrow.
Early in the morning, the stepmother took the children out of their beds, and a piece of bread was given to them, but it was smaller than the time before. On the way into the forest, Hansel crumbled his in his pocket. And stopped every once in a while to throw a morsel on the ground.
Hansel, keep up. We must get going.
I'm looking at a little pigeon sitting on the roof that wants to say goodbye to me.
Fool, that is not the little pigeon. That is the morning sun shining on the roof.
Hansel, however, little by little, threw all the crumbs onto the path. The stepmother had led the children still deeper into the forest, further than they had ever been before. The father made a great fire.
Just sit there, brats. Your father and I are going into the forest to cut wood again. When we are done, we'll come and take you home.
So kind of these children to leave me breadcrumbs. What tasty little breadcrumbs.
When it was noon, Gretel shared her piece of bread with Hansel, who had scattered his all along the path. Then they fell asleep, and the evening passed, but no one came to the poor children. They did not awake until it was dark night, and Hansel comforted his older sister while she cried.
Do not worry, Gretel. In the morning, do not cry, Gretel. At night, we will see the moon shine on the breadcrumbs, and they will make their way home again.
I'm concerned for these children's safety. I better stick close in case they run into any trouble.
When the moon came, they set out, but they had found no crumbs, for the thousands of birds in the woods and fields had eaten them all up, Hansel had said to Gretel.
Do not worry, Gretel. We'll find the way soon.
They walked the whole night and all next day too, from morning till evening. But they did not get out of the forest and were very hungry, for they had nothing to eat except for the few berries left on the bushes from winter. And soon they were so tired that their legs could carry them no longer. They lay down beneath a tree and fell fast asleep.
And there will be a short intermission for a scene change.
It was now 3 days since they had left their father's house. They began to walk again, but they always ended up deeper into the forest. And if help did not come soon, they would die of hunger and weariness. When it was midday, they saw a beautiful snow-white bird that sang so delightfully that they stood still and listened to it.
I must lead these children.
They fed me.
These children fed me yesterday. I must return the favor. There is that old lady in the cottage.
When its song was over, it spread its wings and flew away before them, and they followed it until they reached a little house. When they approached the little house, they saw that it was made of gingerbread, the roof was sponge cake, the chimney was twisted sugar canes, and the windows were sugar, clear as glass.
Food.
Nibble, nibble, little mouse. Who is nibbling on my house?
Do not fear, no mouse is near, only the wind and trees you hear. They went on eating. Hansel, who liked the taste of the roof, tore down a great piece of it. Gretel pushed out the whole one round of window pane, sat down and enjoyed it.
Oops! Little children, who has brought you here? Do come in and warm up by the fire. Why are you out in the woods by yourselves?
My father was very poor and he could no longer buy food for our family.
And our stepmother made him take us out to the forest we've lost forever.
Oh, you poor dears, alone in those terrible woods. Stay here with me and I will take care of you. How could parents leave such sweet, tasty little children by themselves?
She took them both by the hand and led them into her kitchen. She set a big feast on the table before them, milk and pancakes with sugar, apples, and nuts. Afterwards, 2 little beds were covered with clean white linen.
Come on, dear. Let's get you a nice bed.
Hansel and Gretel lay down in them and thought that they were finally in heaven.
Oh yes, this one. Oh yes, this one will be very tasty. Very tasty indeed.
But the old woman had only pretended to be kind. She was really a wicked witch who had built her little house of gingerbread to lure them there. She loved to fatten up little children and eat them for supper. Early in the morning, before the children were awake, she was already up. She saw them sleeping so deeply.
Oh, you wretched thing! Fetch some water and cook your brother something tasty to eat. He needs some more meat on those bones. When he is nice and fat, I shall eat him. Go! Get on with it!
Gretel began to weep, for she was forced to do what the wicked witch commanded. Now the best food was cooked for poor Hansel, and Gretel got nothing but scraps. Every morning the woman crept into the little cage. I don't get it.
You throw peppers at him, he dances.
Hansel, stick out your finger.
Hansel, stick out your finger so that I may feel if you are ready to eat. That's about enough.
Hansel poked a small bone from the cage. The evil witch had terrible eyesight and thought it was Hansel's finger, and was furious that the finger never grew bigger.
Oh, you! That's a good finger. Ah! You! Why is the children never... Ah! Just go back to you little thing!
When 4 weeks had gone by and Hansel still stayed thin, she was seized with impatience and would not wait any
Why are
longer.
the children never growing fatter these days? I demand you to grow fatter. I demand you. Now then, Gretel, fetch some water, for tomorrow Hansel will be my dinner. No matter if he is fat or thin. Go!
Oh, what will we do? At least if we had died in the forest, we would have been together. Now I must watch my brother be eaten. I must think of a plan to save him.
Oh, what have I led these poor children into? I never knew this witch was so evil.
Early in the morning, Gretel had to go out and hang up the cauldron with water and light the fire in the oven.
We will bake first. I have already heated the oven and kneaded the dough. Crawl in and see if it is properly heated, so that we can put the bread in. Come on.
Gretel knew that once she was inside, the witch would shut the oven and let her bake in it, and then she would eat her too. But Gretel had already come up with a brilliant plan.
I don't know. How did I get in? Oh, you silly thing. Just crawl in look. The door is big enough. Even I can get partway in. Let me out! Let me out, you wicked child! Let me out! You could have done that you could have saved me all that trouble.
Oh, thank you. You saved me.
Do you not know how many nights I cried myself to sleep?
Well, I can't let my...
Well, I guess I can't let my only brother get eaten by a witch. That would be so embarrassing, but still!
Okay, let's get out of the house now.
Oh, well, now let's just get out of the house.
Hansel and Gretel went back to the witch's house, gathered up some food, and helped themselves to as much of the witch's riches as they could carry.
How will we ever get back to the forest?
I don't know. Oh, look! It's the bird that led us here. I bet it could bring us out, too.
Sorry I led you to that witch's house. I had no idea she was evil.
I shall protect you on your journey, and no more evil witches will get you.
The bird led them back through the forest. It was a long, tiring journey, but soon Hansel and Gretel could see a wisp of smoke rising over the trees. The woodcutter cried with joy when he saw his children and hugged them as hard as he could. Oh, sorry.
Hansel! Gretel! Are you out there? Hansel? Oh, my precious pumpkins! I never thought I'd see you again!
Hansel and Gretel lived happily with their father and had plenty of the witch's gold to buy all the food they could want. And the stepmother could say nothing, for she was dead and buried, and that had suited them just fine.
Bye-bye, stepmother.
My name is Isabella Lerdahl, and I was the director of Lights and Sound, and I am so excited to introduce you to the cast of Hansel and Gretel by the Club Theater. First, we have Gemma Lopez as the backstage manager in costumes and makeup. Then we have her brother, Emmett Lopez, as the Goblin. We then have Espen Hayes as the wolf. Antoine Armenta as the dove. Henry Warren as the stepmother and the woodcutter. Gunnar Hendricks as Hansel. Sally Warren as Gretel. Iselle Nord as Brothers Grimm 1. Lily Harsh as Brothers Grimm 2. Isabel Felix as the witch. Anita as our director. Kayla Miller as our co-director.